Today's very special Vegas episode of the Bill Simmons podcast, live from Caesar's Palace, is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. That is our presenting sponsor. Having a high sports IQ is very important. We are seeing that right now with NBA free agency. A lot of mistakes. But you know who has a great hiring IQ? ZipRecruiter. You don't need a high hiring IQ. Just use ZipRecruiter. Their powerful technology scans thousands of resumes. My wife's looking at me right now. Scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience for your job. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site. One day, my listeners can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. We're also brought to you by SeatGeek, the best app for buying and selling tickets for sporting events, concerts, and more. For $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase on any game or sporting event, which now that we're heading into the dog days of baseball season, you might be able to get $20 off. You might be able to get tickets for like $0. Use promo code BS. Download the SeatGeek app or go right to SeatGeek.com. Coming up, we're going to talk to a whole bunch of people. You just have to listen to the whole podcast because it goes in about 40 directions. We're taping this from an incredible villa at Caesar's Palace. We're doing a ringer takeover of Summer League. We have, 70 people here, 80 people, 90 employees, or maybe a little less, maybe around 20. But we're here for Summer League, whole bunch of podcast videos. We're doing a live show at Cleopatra's Barge in Caesar's Palace tonight with a whole bunch of fun guests. We're going to run that on this feed on Monday, and it's been wonderful. Was out very late last night. We're going to talk about that right now with David Chang, Cousin Sal, and Joe House. But first, our friends from Pearl Jam. All right, we are at Caesar's Palace in this awesome villa. Mm-hmm. Joe House, David Chang, Cousin Sal are here. We have more people coming up later. We're taping this Friday afternoon Vegas time. I did not make the 9 a.m. BS podcast taping today.
I didn't either.
Because I was out with you dudes. And I was proud of myself. 4:30. That's about all I have in me at this point. I'm like Carmelo.
Yeah.
I could still maybe hit some threes, but that's about it. But 4:30, I was really proud of myself. House, you went to bed.
Yeah, well, I was up for nearly 24 hours. I was on East Coast.
You started
time.
making that excuse pretty early.
I mean, hour 20, hour 21. I mean, these are all times I haven't stayed awake that late. I will say, you missed the 9 a.m. BS podcast this morning. The guy that's sitting to my right here was up with you till 4:30 this morning. He was texting me at 7:45 a.m. for the 9 o'clock Palace Station call.
Maniac.
And I'll be goddamned if we didn't go over there.
Didn't really go to bed.
And it was that good? What'd you get at the Palace Station?
We got oyster pan roast.
The oyster pan roast.
Added lobster.
The combo. Add the lobster.
This is making you hungry, Sal?
Well, they claim they saved some for us. So it better be.
Actually, he was a great friend. He said, I have to make sure that I save some for these guys.
Yeah. I did it.
We broke a bunch of my rules in Vegas last night. One was that one of my rules is don't have a huge dinner before you go out and gamble. And we had like the biggest dinner I've ever had in my life at Momo in Vegas.
There's so much food.
The best. It just kept
Cosmo. I'm blanking.
I was laying in bed, like going over with my wife, like what was the best, and we couldn't narrow down to 5 items.
I was stuffed, and then 3 more courses came out, and then we went and played Blackjack, and we were on a coma for like an hour, and nothing was happening.
We had shots of Fireball.
Then the Fireball shots brought us back.
Yeah.
So Cousin Sal doesn't really drink.
No,
it's not like you're allergic to alcohol. It's never really done anything for you.
I have enough vices,
Right.
If I'm fat enough, and if I drink and have no gambling money, then what am I really?
But the Fireball shots, not only do you
Fireball,
they kind of energize you.
I like Clue and Cream, and I like Fireball when I'm in Vegas.
It's basically just sugar. It's like doing cocaine.
Yeah. It tastes great.
And plus the waitress gets a little offended when you order it.
Yeah, and when you call her a waitress.
What was it supposed to be?
I don't know. Isn't she a cocktail? Well, I don't know what she is.
Cocktail assistant?
Yeah.
So we got Fireball shots, and that got us going. And we had a nice run. We left the table. We got disgruntled. Did the whole thing. We weren't doing well. Left the table. Chang got upset, got competitive with the dealer who forced us out, and went back mano a mano. Grabbed the momentum. We came back, and then we had a big rally.
The book will tell you. The book will tell you not to do that. It's not a great approach, right? To to declare you're going to get vengeance on him?
He said, "I'm going to break this table."
I said, "I'm gonna beat it."
It's like Drago.
Yep, and we made that run.
We did.
It was a stubbornness, sheer gambling stubbornness, proved to win that day.
You were on the beachhead, charging up the dunes.
I was
We're
so mad. We
standing
got
behind
smoked.
you.
We got smoked.
Did. She
Simmons
worked
was
us.
in a great seat. You were in third base, and you had many opportunities to double down, and it came through. I think I set a record for pushing on 20.
I felt like an ass having you at first base. It was your birthday. I was sitting. I should have switched seats. That would have been a generous thing.
As long as everyone's, you cut the cards every time, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
Sal would have 20, and then the dealer would deal herself a 5-card 21 and be like, "Happy birthday!"
Yeah, I know.
And it happened like 20 times.
Unbelievable.
But then we rallied back.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good run.
So rule number 1 we broke, which was leave a cold table where the dealer's killing you, and don't go back. And we went back.
Right back.
That's rule number 2. We broke rule number 1 is don't have a huge meal.
The eating. Yeah.
We had the hugest.
Yeah, that's right. Rule number 3, we left a hot table. We were all doing really well.
No, we got
you
smoked.
were gone.
Yeah, I got to bed.
No, we got smoked for like 4 hands, and then
But
it was.
I think that was
leaving.
wise.
A lot of money.
I think that was wise.
Lost a lot of money. Lost a lot of
No,
money.
the shoot that was done, and we looked at our stack, and we were all like kind of happy with regard to where we had stat there, you know?
And we sort of lost a lot of money that shoot too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And we cashed out, and Chang had some cool chip.
Yeah, what's the chip?
It was like a white chip.
I did well.
Oh,
So he
white
cashed
chip.
out the chip, and the lady in the cashier person was on the phone for 10 minutes verifying the chip.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get Chang riled up. They don't know who you are. This is bullshit.
They're racially profiled.
Yeah, they're racially profiled Chang. If this were my chip, they wouldn't have done this.
Right.
And I was trying to get him mad. He wasn't falling for it.
I was so tired. I mean,
He owns this town. He can't
I
fall
love
prey to that.
gambling, and it makes me genuinely happy because I don't think about anything else other than trying to win free money.
So, but that said, we were ready to turn in, and
And
Simmons
then
made us
that
feel
led
bad.
to rule number 4,
Yeah.
which we broke. We went to Caesars and we played craps. And Chang immediately talked us into betting the don't come line.
I love it.
For people who don't know what that is, when you play craps, there's a come line and a don't come line. Come line, you put your bet on when the roller starts.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they roll first, if it's a 7 or 11, you win immediately. If it's 2, 3, 12, you lose immediately. Any other number that person hits becomes the point. So if you roll like an 8, that's your point on the come line. Then you can back it up with bets.
And they have to roll an 8 before
They have to roll an
they roll
8
a 7.
before they roll a 7.
Yeah.
So 2 8s in a row, you win. 8, 7, you lose. Everybody hates the person that doesn't bet on the come line, that bets the don't come, which is basically you're betting against the roller. You're
Yes.
betting that after they establish their point, 8, 6, 5, 10, 9, whatever, they will throw a 7 before they repeat that roll. And it's like 7 out, and the whole table gets depressed unless you bet the don't come line. So Chang is there like, no, this is going to be fun. And just has all these don't come bets.
I'm playing.
And then we're winning. And he's like, yeah. It's like,
I gotta like move around.
contain, celebrate.
You can't. It's not like the commercials you see for Caesars commercials where everyone's high fiving.
Yeah,
You have to celebrate up, hunched over under
What
the
does
table.
it say about your psyche that you revel in the negative energy of people losing around you as you win?
Well, that's not true, right?
Okay.
Because when we started to throw the dice,
Yeah,
it
we
was
bet on
positive.
ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
We bet on ourselves.
But then we pissed off the people on the other end of the table. They started betting don't come against us, and it was this don't come battle. It was like a
became
rap
weird.
battle.
And it got physical too. We were actually throwing dice at each
we
other.
tried to hit
I was
them with the
aiming for
dice.
one guy.
Whoops, sorry.
It's the most exciting game in the street.
But I was excited to know that I had another brother on the dark side.
Yeah.
Well,
Cousin
I was
Sal.
right there with you.
But you were betting, but you were like, I want to play blackjack. This is too slow.
Yeah. Blackjack tax, was that what it was?
Yeah, he's a black. It is true. And you're like,
Well, I
fuck.
ended up, I
You're right.
treaded water.
You're right, though. It was
But you were doing, you lost your mind. Sal and I were talking about it today. I've never seen you like that. You bet on every single number.
Well, you had
every
a crazy bet.
You're like hard 6, hard 8, 25 in the 9,
you had
25 in the
something-
5.
Okay, so
It's
this
gonna
is
be
what-
hard
this-
to explain
This
what
is going
you
to be
had.
really hard to explain.
You were just
So-
throwing chips everywhere.
No, there was a
This
reason.
is 4th year craps in college.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So there's the stupid bets. There's so many bets. You can bet on one roll. You can bet on every kind of bet.
You can bet on every roll before the roll, even
Yeah.
after the points established.
One of the bets that sometimes I like to do, particularly when my friends or myself are rolling, is betting on the all small, all tall, or all. And all small and all tall are 31-1. And if you hit them all, it's 151-1 odds.
So what
I've hit
what has to happen
once.
to win that?
You have to hit 2 to 6, right?
Okay.
And then
Before you get a 7. The roller has to hit these numbers.
And then we had hit every number except 2
right?
and 12. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I had like,
so that's why you're going
so
crazy.
much action. Basically, I had like 12 bets going on the table because Cousin Sal was on a heater, man. He was throwing so much.
I went for like 15 minutes.
You stuck it to those dudes on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Don't come revenge show coming.
That's
right.
And we made them lose a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And I had a ton of money out there. But I was going crazy. I did lose my mind because I was like,
I couldn't figure out why.
Holy shit! Because
you were in a frenzy.
Because I was so close to winning these 31-1 bets.
Yeah.
And I was also doing the single roll bets so I put like $25 down on 2 and $25 on 12. And maybe a little bit more than that, right?
But we won a couple. Like we won on the hard 6 and the hard 8 a couple
those
times.
Those are dumb bets, but I just feel like it's just something.
You know what's
Why are
dumber
they
than a
dumb
hard
bets?
6? A hard 3, which Bill screamed out
Well, I
a few
was drunk.
times.
No.
He kept asking for a hard
sober.
3. He's like, hard 3. She's like, you mean hard 6? He's like, you know what I mean. He's like, no, you have to say hard 6. There's no 1.5 on each die. It's going to get you a hard 3.
They were mad at how I was throwing the chips too.
Oh yeah.
I'm basically not coherent in craps. I'm not good at any of it. I'm not good at throwing the chips.
That's the cool part, throwing the chips to deal. And then they got pissy with us. Like, no, here's my hand. Throw it into my hand.
Yeah, they gave you an instruction of how to throw chips. I thought that was not cool.
They were a little salty, but they got less salty when Chang started betting for the dealers.
Yeah,
that was
because at that point you had 20 bets. What's 20 or 21? Why not get the dealers involved?
It was that's like the best. That's why craps to me is one of the funnest things you could do. And I wound up losing it all, regardless. Because the real problem is knowing when to pull your bets down on a craps
they keep
table.
Saying that. They keep
and
saying
I have
that.
never learned
that's why
that.
I've never understood craps, because you have the roll, and then you put more money on there, and then the 7 comes, and it's just all gone. And it's like, I was winning for an hour, and I'm even.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's called,
you just have to
it's
press.
called greed.
I want to hear a little more about the glory and glee of the Cousin Sal on the Don't Come, because
That was
really Cousin
amazing.
Sal is built for the Don't Come.
As we were talking about it,
Yeah.
you bet against buzzer beaters in March Madness, which
Right.
is the least American thing that any human being can do.
Yeah, I'm just
You're
rooting for it to
basically
hit the
rooting
rim.
against
That's
buzzer
exciting.
beating joy for 4 days. Is it the first weekend? What
It's
is
the
it?
Thursday, Friday games. Yeah. No buzzer
So
beaters.
all everyone is doing is rooting for buzzer beaters, and
Yeah.
Sal's going against it.
It hit this year.
So the Don't Come was like a revelation
but
for you.
explain, like there are no craps tables if the casino can't win when the lose.
So
when
like
the
always in a
roller
casino, you know it's sort of a good bet when the casino takes away the odds, not in your favor. It's more likely that you're going to crap out than hit, your point. So, and it proved to be true. We deviated from our plan. Had we listened to ourselves, we would have won a lot more money, but we got caught up in irrational exuberance and just bet. I did. I'm talking about myself.
I stuck with what you told me originally, and I
you
actually made money.
won money.
Yeah,
and I
because you
did
just
not.
told me bet Don't Come.
Yeah,
We're doing it
I think
again tonight.
we
We're doing it
enraged like
tonight.
7 people though.
And
that's good.
I made
That's
a
my
person.
goal.
I made a person leave unhappy. Remember, you were like, you got that guy off the table.
Yeah, it was like you broke that guy. That guy's done. You ruined this night.
But I was so happy that, like, I really believe that you are a genuine gambling savant.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't
unbelievable.
understand why you didn't know more about craps. It's like all your
No,
weird,
I do.
beautiful
I didn't
mind.
know. I don't like the opposite. I like playing the numbers and everything and backing up the odds and everything. But the opposite is a little confusing because then you have to reestablish on that 12.
But I'm doing like a lot more stuff. So
I know, you're all over the place.
I'm also trying to qualify for other
Yeah.
numbers because that's the best bet in the house. So if you can back up those
Very
odds,
I don't know how
Yeah.
you did this after like 9 cocktails.
well,
That was my biggest
But you
issue.
understand you could hit people with dice. That's what the best part is. You can get out all your frustration, and they don't really yell at you. They just shrug their shoulders.
did it
and
quite
like,
a bit.
Don't be so sloppy.
Tonight I am betting the hard 3. They're not stopping me.
That's gotta come
I'm just
out.
going to keep betting it. It's
gotta come
hard
out.
3, hard 3.
It was like when I was looking at Cousin Sal, like figuring out the other ways to play craps. I could imagine it as like Bobby Fischer, like all these possible
Oh, it
combinations.
was happening. I was seeing it.
It was
I need to do
amazing.
The problem is, are your friends this way? Like Simmons will sit at the same blackjack table for 9 hours and just smoke cigarettes. I can't get people to play.
A couple cigarettes, like two cigarettes.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
2 3-pack.
One or two.
He swallowed 2 lighters, I think. But do you have trouble with getting your friends to play craps? Are they all blackjack players?
No, they're all like, they like to do stupid things.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about House's blackjack skills?
I don't have any blackjack skills.
What would be his grade? C minus?
I walk in on brand and as advertised. I don't know shit. I come to Vegas once every couple of years.
It's not
It's
like
for fun. It's for the camaraderie.
It's not like you're getting a PhD in rocket science. There's like 5 things to know how to do.
I just try and check to make sure I'm not fucking up what everybody else has.
Well,
that
here's
is
on.
fair.
This is
That
what
you
we were
did a good
introduced
job
to
of that.
last night, which it made you think twice about the surrender.
Oh,
We played a surrender table.
The surrender was good.
Yeah, that was an innovation for
Yeah,
our
I play a
group.
lot
I
of
had 16
blackjack.
against a 10. The surrender.
So that was
I
it.
have a friend,
Those are
my
the
friend
numbers?
John Happ, who can never meet Chang because if they ever played blackjack, they would just start punching each other at the table. Very aggro.
Right.
The surrender thing makes him so mad.
On a 6 deck.
Come on, hit it. Just hit it.
Well, he's dumb. That's
Well,
just
if
the
he's
reality.
listening,
They're gonna
I
come to
actually, the
blows.
surrender, the 16 against the 10, defensible.
No,
At that
the
point, your
the
odds are like, what, 3%?
Mathematically, the odds tell you to do that. It makes more sense if you have a 6 and the dealer showing an ace or a 10 to surrender and get half your bet back in a 6 deck shoot.
But if there's no option for surrender and the dealer
And then
has
you're
an
playing at a
ace, but the
stupid
dealer
deal.
has an ace, you wouldn't take insurance on that.
No, I never take insurance.
But that's
for
the same
dummies.
kind of thing you're talking about. If the dealer has an ace and you have a 6 and it's not
It
a surrender
depends.
table, would you take
Well,
insurance?
I would never go to a table that doesn't offer surrender
Oh,
unless it's
really?
a double deck shoot.
Well, the other thing, the other trend that's happened in Vegas, there's been trends in Vegas. I've been coming here since the mid 90s. They had the electronic shooter where you can never get a feel for the six deck, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was in the mid 2000s. And you would walk around these casinos looking for people that had the natural 6, what is it called? 6 deck shoot.
Yep.
They
I think
got
it's
rid of
8
the-
times now.
They got rid of those finally because I think everybody hated them. But now this new thing where the blackjack odds have changed,
Yeah.
and it
It was 6 to 5.
was 60. You have to go find the table
You
that
got to go
has 3 and
find.
2.
Because
So when
most
you get,
people don't know that the odds are.
yeah,
Right.
so you get blackjack. You have $100 down. You get blackjack. You should get 150 plus the 100.
And
back.
it's a big deal if you're playing for 4 or 5 hours. If you're just sitting
Yeah.
down for 20 minutes, you could do it 6 to 5.
So
But
now
if-
they're saying it's you get blackjack. You get 120 on 100, which is just,
And on those
screw
tables,
you, Vegas.
the big thing is they can
Don't
still
say
draw
that.
cards on a sauce 17.
Yeah.
That's like total shit.
Let me add this.
It's like they're not winning enough on people on blackjack. They have to like bend the rules more.
right.
Come on.
I mean, I would probably do the same thing if I was a casino.
Why did you never get into counting cards? Or did you?
Who said that he didn't?
Oh, I don't know.
I was trying to do it last night.
Yeah, it's hard.
It was tough. What made it hard were the fireball
Fireballs
shots.
don't
Yeah,
make
the
my
fireball
SAT
shots weren't
scores
up.
did not,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, but you have
Conjure
such a
image.
mathematical approach to it otherwise.
I'm trying to get an estimation as to what's happening. Right.
The way to do it is you just have to keep in your head a general sense of face cards and aces and whether you're either low or high.
And you would announce it. You like a lot of picture cards coming.
I was usually right?
Yeah. But
And
the
that's when
dealer
you
would get
see,
it.
like, usually you know that like I'm trying to calculate something in my head, not counting cards. No, never counting cards.
No.
When I'm increasing my bets. When you saw
I
like,
see.
oh, Dave's doing something stupid,
Right.
it's because I was hoping to catch, a good
House
shoot.
was counting the cards. He was literally counting.
One,
He was like, king plus 3 is 13.
House had trouble with
force.
the 14 against the 7. It's like, just hit it.
Yeah.
You got to just hit it.
But I mean, that's the best way to go about doing it. If there's a lot of low numbers,
Yeah.
House, I've played blackjack with you like 10 times. I don't understand why you can't
I
get
play
the
once
rules.
every 2 years. I come in. I just want to make sure I don't mess up any of my pals.
Well, you
that's
are
all.
you are nice
You're
about
good.
asking.
I ask.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing to do is not.
Although he did.
I stayed on 16.
16 against a 10 and gave somebody else the 5, which was the classic. Everybody just starts laughing.
yeah.
I gave you the 5.
Yeah.
You won.
Guess what? No,
Congrats.
Oh
Yeah, you got
win.
21, you dick.
Yeah, I didn't feel good about it.
Yes, you
Didn't feel good about
did.
it.
Put some money right over to your side.
Screws up the cards.
I didn't realize how hard you like to grind out a table. Like,
What do you mean?
yeah.
Like you broke me. You did. I was
he
like,
won't move.
Bill, like I have to go to bed.
I'm glad
I
we're talking about this.
intentionally.
It's 4:30.
Although they'll be vacuuming under his feet. He doesn't care.
No, I do like when the vacuums come out. I know that it's a good night. The other sad is when you come back to the hotel room and it's light outside.
Yeah.
And my contacts are still in.
Yeah.
You grenaded yourself last night.
Yeah,
He
I did.
started pyramid scheming his bets because he was either like, I'll either just get this stack or I'm out. Either way, I don't care.
And is that more difficult when you're playing 3 hands because you were playing 3 hands?
Yeah, you did play
You were
3
playing
hands
a
at one
couple
point.
at a time.
I was doing.
You kicked someone
I was
out
doing
away
2.
from our table.
Yeah. That's when I started playing 3. So some guy couldn't join our table. I hate when that happens.
Right.
You hate having the random person in the mix.
Makes me one of my greatest pet peeves in my life is when you're playing blackjack and you have like bigger bets, way bigger bets,
Yeah.
and someone's doing the minimum and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right. It's
It's almost like if they were betting the don't come against you in craps or something.
No,
Same
but it's
matter.
worse than having a bad dealer or something, right? Like,
Well,
it's
the
you'd rather
funny thing
just-
is like that's like karma is one time when I was in Macau.
Good
Oh,
name drop.
this story.
Good name drop.
Numbers in Chinese culture are so powerful and symbolic that I swear to God, this is how I interpreted it because this was my bets. And there it's different because like it's probably like 3 to 5 people deep because everyone's putting bets on top of bets.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Oh,
It's,
interesting.
I
it's
do not like
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
And
You did that a little with us.
a little bit.
I loved it.
A little bit.
It helped.
And I just love the action. So I was betting, making sure if you weren't going to double, I would just put the money down because I can't help it. I love the action. But in Macau, I wound up I decided I was never going to play blackjack ever again in a predominantly Asian casino because they could have like 14 and the dealer will show 18 and you might have like an 18 or whatever. Like they're going to stay regardless because they feel it's an auspicious number or it's lucky. And I'm like, fuck, no, please hit it. And they won't do it.
Wow.
And they're like, no, fuck you. You don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I've got the gods on my side.
Yeah. So that's why I just wind up playing Baccarat if I'm in.
Baccarat's so James Bond.
It's a great
Doesn't
game.
feel like a real human
it's
being
slow.
game.
It's slow, but essentially it's flipping a quarter.
Yeah. But it's
really
similar
is.
to craps in that you either play the streak or you go against the streak, right?
But it's meaningless. Like
It's
I'm
all
not the
meaningless.
right person to talk about this, but from what I've read, it is totally meaningless in terms of the chart of like whether it's,
Yeah.
house or
Sure.
the bank.
Player, yeah.
And
Bank.
it just doesn't matter. None of it is a pattern. So
I thought we
Yeah.
could have won last night when you got tired.
I was so tired.
Because
And-
it was me and Chang and some happy Russian guy who had like Teddy KGB's accent.
Yes.
What?
And
Yes.
knew the dealer and was talking about how much money he'd won with the
He was only
dealer.
missing in the Oreos.
And
that was it.
And we were all winning, but you were stacking. So it was like you would win 5 in a row, but then lose the 6.
I was hoping to like lose.
He
So
was,
you
he
go
was
to bed.
so I
grenading
go to
himself.
bed,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he got so mad at me.
I didn't
know.
get mad.
Yeah,
I was winning.
You
You
get
got
very
back.
pissy. You get
I was
very
winning.
upset.
But the problem was I kept on like winning. So the bets had to get bigger and bigger,
Yeah.
and it became more noticeable that I was
I
trying
like
to
the
get out
Russian
of
guy.
it.
Anytime it's late at night and there's weird people at the table that are
He
like
was-
good karma
He
people.
was really like
I
a
like
nice
that
dude.
Yeah.
Bill is not pacing himself at all. It's like he needs to learn. If we're here for a few nights, it's okay to use that 4 to 6 a.m. period to go to sleep. It
Well,
really
I
is.
was in bed by 4:32.
All right.
Bill, can I ask without you getting upset at me?
Yeah.
There was like a couple shoots when
Yeah.
we were at the Win
Yeah.
where I felt that if you had pressed your bets just like by a third,
So
you
Sal-
could have left with like
So
a
how-
lot of money.
So House
a
mentioned
lot
that
of
to
money.
me. I never felt like I do that if I feel like the table's on fire. I never felt like we were on
The
fire.
dealer was saying to us, wow,
Yeah.
this guy's killing it.
Yeah, she did say
Nah.
killing it.
She did.
She did.
She did. She said it multiple times.
It was Nez.
On your
I
on
was
your
betting
right hand,
2 hands.
Yeah, but on your right hand, your first hand, you pulled 21 6 times. with low cards. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I felt like I had a good thing going. Sometimes when I press,
I'm not counting. I'm not
you
counting.
did have a good thing going.
No. But
You're
sometimes
21.
Chang tipped more than you won on those 6. It's crazy.
Sometimes when I press, though, it ruins the momentum. I've had bad experience with that.
But like,
I do press. I was
trying to calculate in my head today how much money you could have won.
Well,
if you
physically, the problem with me is physically after that meal you made for us. No, seriously, I didn't feel like, I felt like I had a torn ACL. Like I was playing in the World Cup with a torn ACL.
We were out of it. The first 2 hours.
I was like in a half coma.
But Bill also
quiet,
plans,
too.
I'm going to defend him a little here. Maybe he didn't press because he plans on being at that table all night.
No, it's a
All
war of
night.
attrition.
Yeah.
No, just so you know, my strategy is usually to press late at night.
That's the worst time.
I know,
to
but
press.
that's what works for me.
Like that is the worst.
I usually
When you
up
have
it
drink,
late.
like, the
I like
rational
being a
mind
little
doesn't
sleepy.
work.
No, that's good. That's when I take chances.
No. I think the
We can
smartest
agree to
play
disagree.
is to smartest play is to bet as like to do blitzkrieg, like fast hits.
I have friends that have Hopper is like this too. My friend Hopper, he wins a couple hands and just goes all in immediately. It's basically your house. You don't have any strategy at all.
I'm just there for the fun of it. Chang took care of it for all of us. He blitzkrieged himself, and then he's right next to me. He's pushing me too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was perfect.
The problem is,
enjoyed
though,
it.
if you lose 3 or 4 in a row, you have to say goodbye to the table and go see the Blue Man Group or something. You can't hang around because you can't sustain it.
But what was fun about last night was as near as some of us got to like that.
Yeah.
There was like
We made
always
it back.
momentum.
There
to
were
make it back.
comebacks.
Yeah.
There were comebacks.
We won the dealer back, which doesn't happen.
You know why?
very
You know
often.
why? Because we're the Fireball foursome. Right?
Fireball four.
Yeah.
The Fireball four.
That's
All right,
That
let's
was
take-
such a shock. When
let's,
you asked for fireball shots, like
It's the only
to
shots I
see
can
this
do. All right,
tonight.
let's take a break. Hey, summer is short. Make the most of it in a new BMW. This week, me and Joe House driving to Vegas in a new BMW X3. I could not be happier about it. When you're driving to Vegas, it's 4 hours. You're on the highway. You want that ride to be nice and smooth. You want to be in a car that everything is in there at your beck and call. Nice radio, good speed. You can put it on cruise control, all the stuff you like. And then also, you're driving through Death Valley. You want to be in a car that you know is reliable. BMW is the best. It drives the best. I've had BMWs probably for most of my life. I remember in the 90s, I had a car that I took from 25,000 miles to 210,000. I'm not making that up. Same car. Drove it back and forth, drove it all around the East Coast. BMW. I swear by them. It's my favorite car. I think my favorite was the 325 in the 90s, just because it was a little bit ahead of its time. It was a little bit before everybody realized that BMW was the best car. My feeling is if you're getting a car and you're spending money, get the best. BMW is just the best. It's like talking about LeBron or Messi or Ronaldo or whoever. You know, I was thinking about it's free agency time. You can talk about cars, and cars are like NBA players where it's like, oh, that guy's a great shooter. He can't play defense. Very rarely does the free agent come on the market that just checks all the boxes. You know, you saw it this year, LeBron, obviously, Paul George, just the rare guys who could just do everything. And that's BMW. Whatever you want from a car, if you want the SUV, they have that. They have the best version of that. If you want the fancy convertible, if you want the sleek little tight compact convertible, whatever, do you want an electric car? All of it, they have the best. Whatever you want, they can do it. They can come in all kinds of colors. You can do New England Patriots blue if you want. You can do red. Anyway, they have everything. I could not recommend BMW any more highly. Hurry into the BMW Summer On Sales event now and receive exceptional offers on select models. But remember, summer won't last forever. Learn more at bmwusa.com/summeron. And you could be like me and just go to the BMW site and just surf around from cars you like. I am a loser. I love cars. I love BMW. Check it out. All right, we dumped David Chang. Chris Ryan is here.
What a replacement.
Star of My Quest, the Jason Concepcion story on the ringer.com right now. World Cup. We just had Brazil lost.
Yeah.
You were surprised or you weren't?
I was surprised that Brazil lost. Yeah, they had the best overall team by far in the tournament. So it's a pretty big shock. And they were supposed to have redemption for the last World Cup where they lost 7-1 to Germany. I watched it downstairs in the Caesars Sportsbook. There were a few very loud Brazilian ladies who I think were saying things in Portuguese that would have gotten them arrested if they had been saying them in English. But from what I could discern, was very disappointed in their team's performance.
So they were like 2-1 favorites?
Yeah, they're about 180, 190 favorites.
We've just lost some monster teams.
Yeah, all of South America's out of the tournament.
Do you want to hear about Sal's birthday bet?
Let's do it.
So Sal's lovely wife decides, I'm going to get Sal. Sal's birthday was yesterday. I'm going to buy him a bet. Yeah. I'll consult the degenerate trifecta.
Terrible.
So Harry, who is on like the biggest cold streak probably any sports gamer's ever been on, is like, go get him Uruguay.
Oh no!
And she goes in and buys the Uruguay bet for Sal. Happy birthday!
I was like,
and
this
then
is
Uruguay
lose,
loses,
and I'm going to be up for 20 minutes of this game.
My wife told me the story, and she's like, "Isn't this cute?" So she has to trifecta. And they told him Uruguay. I was like, "Oh, that's a loss. Can we stop her? Should we go down?"
By the way,
Harry.
I don't want to make too much of this, but it's my money too. It's
100%. Yeah, Harry was the first few games of the World Cup don't mean the rest of the World Cup's going to play out that way.
Yeah.
Harry was convinced, well, Uruguay hasn't given up a goal yet.
Yeah, their defense.
That was
But
my
they were
Harry
playing in the
impersonation.
worst
That's pretty
group.
good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But don't you think that people thought the same way about Belgium? They barely survived against Japan. They were lucky to even win in regulation on the fast break. The goalie spinning it out there. And maybe there was a lot of anti-Belgian bias going in.
I think people thought Brazil was going to win like 5-0.
Yeah, right.
Because Belgium
Really?
has basically like a 36-year-old guy with one hamstring as the anchor of their defense. They have a really good keeper. And then they attack. They have 2 of the 3 best Premier League players.
I was really impressed by them throughout the Cup. I was surprised that they were dramatic underdogs.
They
like
also
that.
have a coach that is essentially like if you hired Vinny Del Negro to coach Team USA. Like Roberto
Jesus.
Martinez is like,
Can we do that?
a good media company, media guy, but he is like as a coach is like really suspect.
So I thought France was the best team I saw the whole Cup. And now it looks like things have lined up for them pretty nicely.
Yeah. So
So France and Belgium advance. Tomorrow we have England against Sweden. England minus 220 to advance. And then the Croatia-Russia battle. Croatia minus 180. One of those two is going to be in the Final Four. I thought Croatia was good, though.
Yeah.
Why
they have a
wouldn't
really
we
good midfield.
parlay England and Croatia? Is it because of the England baggage? Why wouldn't we do that?
There is
Minus
no-
220,
England,
minus
England
180.
shed their baggage.
in the PKs.
Yeah, they won their first penalty shootout in World Cup history. This is a young team. They are pretty much playing free of that baggage.
You know, the last time I heard this narrative was the Minnesota Vikings after they escaped the Saints. Baggage
right.
is gone.
That's right.
It's a new era. And then they got killed in Philadelphia.
It's also England and Croatia are fun teams to cheer for.
Yeah.
You're like Sweden essentially. So did you guys hear the term shithousery?
No.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about with England versus Colombia, is that Colombia was engaging in shithousery, which is essentially like falling down a lot, surrounding the ref and yelling at
I
him.
like that.
Wasting time with fake injuries.
I thought you were talking about a house for a second. I got confused.
I'm sitting right here.
Shithousery is what happens after
No,
he
so
has
they were
a giant
engaging
dinner.
in shithousery, and they say that people say that Sweden does it too, but just in a more IKEA way, like in a more like efficient, less dramatic way. But I think England's got them tomorrow. I think England's going to take it.
My wife had a good observation regarding shithousery with she should never bet soccer again, but she did point out that you have Neymar, he's covered with tattoos, needles all over the place for his whole life, and someone grazes his toe,
Yeah.
and he's in histrionics for an hour.
Yeah, what would happen when he got a tattoo?
I know.
He just like have to be medicated?
It would be like listening to like all of the Smiths discography at once, just sobbing in your bedroom forever.
Who
That
is
should be a
the
ring with
flopper of the tournament?
Neymar, just because I think
thought it was Neymar too.
that sideline one against Mexico
Yeah.
where it basically he like got grazed, and then Mexico was sort of getting back in that game, and he wasted like 5 minutes rolling around like in a way that is it's like you could lie there and
Like
just
you've
be
been shot.
"Ah, that hurt," but it's just like the flipping back and forth like somebody stabbed him in the thigh.
What are these referees? How many languages must they know, or is it all just
They
like
just have
when
to
Senegal was playing Morocco, that no one can understand everybody, right? Like,
so the Colombia players complained a little bit about Mark Geiger from the Colombia-England game, and he's American. And they were like, well, he didn't even speak Spanish. It's like, I think he got the point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They were surrounded, I think the international language of shithousery knows no borders.
How many yellow cards before you're suspended for the next game? 3 or 2?
Gosh, in this late stage, I don't know. I think that's because a couple of guys were up against it the last round, but I don't know what it is for going into
I was
the
thinking
semis.
if they had this in the NBA like this, how crazy it would be. We saw it once with Draymond in 16.
Yeah, right.
But he had how many technicals at that point? Like 16?
Right. And then wasn't there like a joke when they got close to the sweep? Like Draymond was like, they can't throw me out of this one, so I'm just going to go for broke in game 4.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just going to be like laying forearm shivers in the opening 5 minutes.
Well, I was thinking flagrant 1, flagrant 2 is basically yellow card, red card.
Yes.
That's right.
Would you rather have yellow card or red card house, or would you rather have flagrant 1, flagrant 2?
I like flagrant. I think it
You
really
wouldn't want the
emphasizes
NBA
point.
refs to hold up a yellow card?
I think
Well,
it's
you can
cool.
do both.
I like the holding
the
up the
ceremonial
card.
card.
The
Yeah,
problem with it
called
is 2
flagrant.
yellows. The problem with it is that like in separation, like 1 yellow in basketball should not get you tossed out of a game. And doing 2
No, but
is-
2 could though.
Yeah, but that like that's just because it gets so on the border though. It gets so on the
Here's what I would do. If I'm a player, I discreetly hide an even bigger yellow card. So when the referee presents me
You
with one,
shove
I'm
it
like,
right back.
aha, look at this stop sign, basically.
So whatever happens tomorrow, odds are England, Croatia, and then we have Belgium and France.
Mhm.
Just looking at this as a casual World Cup fan who watched these games, I thought France was overpoweringly the best team out of these 4.
yeah.
Why wouldn't we bet on France to win the World Cup? And what would the odds be, Sal?
right now, what are they, plus 250? We were looking at it before. France?
You got this,
right
Isaac?
around 250?
Yeah, France for plus 200.
200?
2 to
Yeah.
1.
What's England?
Okay.
England is
4 to 1?
4.
Yeah.
Chris is an England fan. We should mention he's
The best games, like how do you justify France beat Argentina 4-3? That was a great game.
Because
But where was the-
Argentina, like we basically are like what Argentina's defense was. We were like it was actually Bill after 4:30 a.m. curtain call.
Right.
That's like the central defensive back for
it's me
Argentina
every day.
Right, but
Uh,
Argentina scored a lot too, and they hadn't in their previous games. Like for
Yeah,
them to put up
I think
3
it
as
just
well.
became like an up and down game. So what happens is outside of the group stages, these just become very situational.
Okay.
So some team might say, we're going to play 10 guys behind the ball. We're going to wait for you to make a mistake. We might even wait to get to penalties because then it's basically a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Some teams might say, hey, we're going to try and actually open this up and see if we can score 3 and make you need to keep up with us. I almost felt like Belgium got lucky a little bit today, but what they were basically doing was running on every turnover.
Yeah, there's a lot of fast breaks.
And they were just
I love
counting
that.
on
They're like
Brazil
the
having it.
Lakers.
Yeah.
That's the soccer I like. I
Yeah.
like the transition. So I recommend France. I would be surprised if they didn't win the World Cup. So to be able to get a plus bet on them at
Are
plus
we worried
200.
at all that Putin is 3 goalie poisonings away from winning this thing? Like it really could
Because
happen.
he probably wasn't going to.
They're 20 to 1, right?
We were saying he probably wasn't going to fix the early rounds. He didn't realize
yeah.
but now that they're close,
It's
Yeah.
going to
we
be
might
like
see some accidents.
really strange
No,
if it's
I
like
mean-
0-0 in extra time against Croatia if something weird
And
happens.
there's already talk about how they had
Yeah.
great stamina.
Yeah,
Against,
imagine the cocktail that
Spain.
those guys are taking. It's HGH, Adderall, and what?
EPO.
And
The
EPO,
stuff that
right?
makes
It's like
you
Jason
laugh.
The blood
Statham from
doping.
Crank. Yeah.
Yeah, they consulted The Rock, Lance Armstrong, Sammy Sosa. They had a lot of things. I like France. We have Caesars has these sheets. Ever since Sal and I started coming to Vegas together, we go to the sports book, and this was before the rise of online gambling, where you could really get good odds at the right prices. We would just stare at these
We've killed
sheets.
so
like,
many forests.
just
with
we
these-
would go
yeah.
to lunch and bring the sheets and
And
not
not
talk
talk.
and just look at
Yeah.
the sheets, and Sal would be like, Lakers 5-1. And it would, like, just not talk for another 10 minutes. Basketball is here.
It is?
Before we know what's going on with Kawhi, okay.
Bill was surprised that you could bet the summer league.
I think that's outrageous.
The spreads
Are
are,
you
very
gonna?
low.
Can you bet
Betting
Trey
summer league
Young
is
to crack
ludicrous.
30% from
Will
the
Trae
field?
Young's career be over by the end of summer league?
Because he's wow.
Oh, come on.
Oh, sorry. He's young.
The problem with the Trae Young thing is that all the signs are there for one of the biggest trade catastrophes we've ever had. Like, I already thought Dallas won the trade convincingly, and then Trae Young, I try not to overreact to Summer League, but when you're bad in Summer League, I think that's a bad sign.
Trae Young's taken, I think, is it 52 shots in 3 games? He's also destroying it's a small sample size argument.
It's a volume shooter.
Yeah.
So, House, you haven't seen the odds for the finals, right?
No.
What would you want to guess the Warriors' odds are right now?
You have to pay. I bet they're, it's like, I don't know, 10 to 11.
5 to 8.
Minus 160.
So you bet 800, you can only win 500 on it. For some reason, the boogie thing, which I haven't talked about on a podcast, I guess we should talk about that quickly. The boogie thing swung their odds, and people don't seem to realize he's a 280-pound guy coming off this Achilles injury that has been deadly for pretty much every NBA player. I don't think he even comes back till after the All-Star break. And if he does, he's playing 17, 18 minutes a game. Your best case scenario is like Bill Walton on the 86 Celtics. Like, comes off the bench, changes the game.
But what's your worst
That's your
case
best
scenario?
case.
What's
Your worst case scenario is he's running around with a limp and he's slow and he's not healthy.
And the Warriors still make the conference finals. And at that point, they'll be minus.
I'm just saying, I don't think he should have swung the odds.
Yeah.
It was a really good
LeBron
gamble by
shouldn't have
them.
swung it that much either. I don't
What
know.
would you guess for the Lakers? Or do you want you have a boogie thought? Give your boogie thought.
Well, my
quick.
boogie thought is what you just described is exactly what's going to happen. He's just going to wait. There's no reason for him to play until the All-Star break, and the regular season for Boogie is irrelevant. The whole point is for Golden State. It tips one more, to the left for them in terms of getting through the playoffs with healthy guys.
It maybe tips it. Pete,
It's
the way the odds
it's a body.
made it seem like it was definitely
Yeah,
doing
well,
it.
the odds-
I think it's like 50-50 he helps them.
Oh, yeah. And there's also like the added wrinkle of he's playing for his next contract. What if he starts getting mad about touches? What if just like any usual Boogie locker room stuff happens?
And it's 2 organizations were very happy not to have him anymore now, which I think is also a bad sign. But
I say, who cares about Boogie? Those are still good odds, minus 160. We do this with the Patriots in the beginning of the year. Like, well, they're 4-1. That's
I think
low, but they're making the AFC Championship.
I think winning 4 and 5 is really hard.
Yes.
And they've had a lot of injury luck the last 5 years. They have not had like a major
is Iguodala going to be healthier
injury.
this year than he was last year?
Iguodala is the worst injury they've had in this entire run.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Rockets are going to step up.
House, what do you have for the Lakers? What would be your guess?
Well, they're still they're going to be silly. It's going to be ridiculous. What are they, 6-1?
5-1.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which to me is the worst bet on the board after their summer signings. The KCP for $12 million was embarrassing.
Why didn't they do something? Is it that they're not? This isn't the team. It's the next year's team. Like, why not look at Marcus Smart or blow out for Capella?
It seems like they wanted the 1 years, but I would have kept. I just feel like cap space is the best commodity you can have, and maybe they had a chance to get Damian Lillard, who Sal and House and I bet on Damian Lillard would be the next Lakers All-Star acquisition, or was it max contract?
Yeah.
We bet on Damian Lillard plus 750.
Wow.
So, but I mean,
If they get a
space,
Damian Lillard or if they get a Kawhi Leonard, what do those odds change to?
Well, I think that's why the odds are where they are now, because people are assuming. I don't think they're going to get Kawhi, though. Lillard, if they had kept their cap space, they could have traded Lonzo and like Kuzma just for Lillard. And it would have saved the Blazers like $20 million and gotten them under the tax. And it's a defensible deal for the Lakers.
You know what's a dumb thing?
I like Lonzo way more than most people. Where do you guys stand on Lonzo?
I wanted him to get traded to San Antonio, and then Popovich has to deal with the old man. I think that's a great dynamic.
Well, so the old man made his name got heard from the other day.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he called Rondo the little guy. He's going to back him up. He called him Little Rondo. He hit a Rondo dig. That's not going to go well.
Wow.
That's not. But
He's gone, by the way. Lonzo is gonzo.
I would trade for him right now.
Lonzo is gonzo.
If I was Milwaukee, first of all, Lonzo would be on my team already. If I was another GM, I would have him already. I would have traded for him. But if I was Milwaukee, I'd be like, hey, we'll trade you Bledsoe. He's expiring contract, clutch client. We'll take back the dang contract. And then you guys maybe throw in Lonzo. I don't know. Maybe Kuzma and Lonzo.
You don't think Magic
I would have Lonzo be on my team.
You don't think Magic has reputational stuff tied up in Lonzo working out?
No, he doesn't care.
Okay.
He's all in LeBron. The funniest thing about those stories was LeBron meets with Magic and they have this 3-hour brainstorming session on who they should sign, which they made it seem like it was the diner scene in Heat. They're just looking at each other. Well, now that we've gotten to know each other, If I have to take you down, I'm not going to like it. So they have this 3-hour brainstorm session, and it yields KCP, Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee,
And Rondo.
for a combined $18 million next year. That was what their 3-hour brainstorming session revealed. Right. And Rondo, I actually kind of liked.
The Rondo thing is fine in a vacuum. I mean, you could defend any of those in a vacuum.
I thought Rondo was good.
With the exception of Lance, who I think actually is not helpful on a basketball team, except for like...
Lance is fine if you're paying him like $15 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're paying him $4.5 million.
But it's also, I couldn't tell whether those deals were all made because they think they have a shot at Durant or Kyrie or somebody down the line, or whether they were made because they knew they were trading all the kids for Kawhi.
I think KCP was a favorite of Rich Paul. Rich Paul fucked up his contract a year ago. He had like, I think $70 million from Detroit, didn't take it. Then they go into the offseason, doesn't get any deals, and he did the 1 year, $18 million. I tweeted, you can go look at my Twitter. When it happened, I was like, I bet they do a life raft contract for KCP because Rich Paul screwed this up, and it'll be a favor for LeBron in a year. And then like 3 days later, $18 million.
Right.
So they give him another 12. So KCP ends up making $30 million for 2 years. Mm-hmm. I would say he's a below average starter, right?
Yes.
So maybe a good ninth man.
Yeah, I think he's like a good stats bad team
but
guy.
I think he's somebody they could trade.
Okay.
In a Kawhi deal,
that'll be a really good litmus test for how much pull Rich Paul has there.
I just think I think LeBron is one of the worst GMs of this decade. The only good signing they had was Ray.
Are you going to say I don't think he's making these calls?
Yeah, I'm going to go on the record again. I don't think he's making these calls.
I think him and Magic are making these calls together. I think
where's Pelinka?
I don't know.
I mean, he's the GM.
He's probably like in Bora Bora.
He's probably here.
Does LeBron like, he's like, look, Stevenson, I don't even care if I play with him. I just don't want this maniac breathing on me as an opponent. Let's just sign him so I don't have to deal with that.
Well, they tried to do this ESPN story. They were talking about his team's, it's going to be unlike any LeBron team. He doesn't want to be surrounded by shooters. He wants defenders who can switch.
Who said that?
That was this ESPN article.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's going to play in the post.
It was the whole, LeBron's going to move down to the post. He needs another ball handler.
Oh, my God.
I liked the way Rondo played last year. I thought he was really good on the Pelicans.
I think Anthony Davis has that effect on people. Yeah.
Well, but Rondo was good though. He was going at dudes.
Yeah, I thought that when Boogie went out, they figured out the perfect way to play around Anthony. Yeah.
The part that makes me crazy though is, explain this to me. If you're going to do 1 year deals, Julius Randle signs 2 years, 18 with the Lakers. Why not just give Julius Randle 1 year for 14 and keep him for a year? Because that guy was kicking ass last year.
And Julius Randle's agent is the same agent as Paul George.
Well, I think the underrated story this year with the summer was the agency shit.
Yeah.
It was like CAA versus Clutch.
Yeah.
And LeBron doesn't think about Philly because Joel Embiid is there. He's CAA. Paul George doesn't think about the Lakers. He's CAA. He didn't want to go to a Clutch team. I really believe in that stuff. I think it's futile. Hold on quickly before we go. What do you think the Celtics odds are?
10-1.
You probably know.
It's
let Chris Ryan guess.
It's less, right? No, I don't know.
The less, they're probably like 8.
5-1.
Yeah.
Wow. What? To win the NBA title?
You got a problem with that house?
A big one.
I do.
Big one. I want to bet the don't come on that one.
Especially after listening to Haralabob on your pod.
Philly? What do you think?
10-1.
A little lower. 8.
I like Philly's odds to win better than the
Philly's
Celtics.
10-1.
Yeah.
Philly did not get better though.
Who
Did they get
says?
better? What'd they do?
They're fine. They're what they were.
They're
you're
what they were a year
anticipating
ago. A team that lost in round 2.
And you're anticipating that Ben Simmons is going to be better next year.
I want to see the Ben Simmons Instagram video of him just shooting little baby lefty hooks for like 1,000 of them and twirl. Have we seen those yet?
No, we've seen him at the Grove.
And we've seen him with Kylie Jenner.
Kendall, yeah.
So you can get, they may not have it here right now, but you can get a Celtics Warriors final for about 5 or 6-1.
Ooh.
That's worth. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
Rockets?
14?
14?
No,
The
that's
Houston
too high?
Rockets?
I don't know.
It feels like it. I would have them higher than both the Celtics and the
Well, who asked
Sixers. You did just now.
I guess I
have them
did.
at 8.
Damn it. I
I'm gonna
did
put them
ask
at
you.
8.
Is it 8?
What do you have, Chris?
7.
5-1.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
bad.
shocked by that
That's
at all.
bad.
So here's the Rockets. That we're going to talk about Carmelo with Jason Concepcion and Shea Serrano in a second. If Carmelo goes to Houston, I think that 5-1 should be a little lower. I think it should be like
I love the glint in your eye right now.
If they can extract a vintage off the bench Olympic Melo season from him, and Chris Paul can build him back up, I'd rather have that than Trevor Ariza.
You look like Pacino when he realizes De Niro's taking his picture. Okay,
motherfuckers.
You got that glint in your eye. We just got made.
Yeah, this guy's good. Chris, right? Like we need to do an NBA season preview where we just talk in all Heat quotes. Neil. That's Carmelo right now with Chris Paul.
Say what?
Neil, bro. Neil. She was my whole life. OKC, any guesses?
6,000 to 1.
10. OKC is going to be better than the Lakers next year.
I'd say 14.
That's fine.
For them.
60 to 1.
What?
Wow.
See, I wasn't that far off.
Are you serious?
60 to 6,000.
Did Westbrook leave?
What's the difference?
For a second, I wanted to bet on that. And then I remember that every time they get to the playoffs, Russell Westbrook takes 45 shots in a deciding game and they lose and go home. So I'm not going to bet on that. That's it. Any other teams? We listed every potential contender, right?
That's it. That's all of them.
House, do you want to guess on the Wizards?
60 to 1. Same as OKC. Yeah.
They have to have worse odds than OKC.
The Wiz are 100 to 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say 80. Wow.
But they could be the third best team in the East.
They could. I've come. I'm at the acceptance stage.
What are the Raptors?
I've come around on Dwight Howard.
Yeah, we'll end it with this.
Oh my God.
So House is off season in no particular order. Isaac Lee's favorite player, Austin Rivers. The Clippers traded Austin Rivers, and Isaac reacted like Trump got impeached. He was running around the ringer offices with his hands up. Like it was the greatest moment in Clippers history. So they get him. It's like, all right. I actually didn't mind the Austin Rivers.
You defended it in a competent way. I understand.
Can play defense.
You like him playing defense.
He's an irrational confidence guard off the bench. He doesn't pass.
Who knows who he is?
Well, my problem is I've seen this guy so many times in Washington. I mean, a guy who just pounds the ball to death with till 6 seconds left in the shot clock and then puts up an awful 1-footer.
So there's chemistry issues we heard. So then they go and they sign Jeff Green, the most frustrating NBA player of the last
DMV
12
legend,
years.
though.
Yeah, that's right. He's from Hyattsville, Maryland. He went to Georgetown.
Believe me,
I'm good with Jeff Green.
When he was on the Celtics, he would light up DC. He would light up the Bullets in DC every time they played them.
I only want 1 out of every 5
I can't wait. So House has already talked himself into Austin Rivers.
Yes.
He's halfway there with Jeff Green.
Yes.
And then the coup de grace, the coach killer, Dwight Howard.
Farty pants himself.
He's gotten his last 6 coaches fired. I made a mistake. I said it was the last 5.
Let me ask
He got 2 coaches fired in Houston.
I do want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Who's the best point guard that Dwight Howard has played with in his entire
he's talking
career?
himself into this. This is
Who's the
great.
best?
Jameer?
I mean, it's of that vintage.
Broken down Steve Nash?
Pat Beverly?
Kemba?
I mean,
Kemba probably, but
the
the
singular skill that John Wall has that differentiates him from the rest of the league.
Eating?
Is this preternatural, eating in the offseason, but once he's in shape, he loves to feed the big man. He
And
runs
himself.
a great pick and roll. He gets the ball in exactly the right place at the rim. I think Dwight Howard is going to eat. Everybody eats in Washington.
That's right. Everybody
John?
eats.
Is Jason over there? You have to save your thoughts for this for when you come on. I know you might have some.
I'm just trying to do the glass half full version.
We're
of
taping this, right? This is great. I'm so glad we're videotaping this.
The problem is they might be the washed Wizards. They really might be.
The Washington Wizards?
They really might be.
The Washington Wizards?
They might be.
That's pretty good.
But God damn it.
We were saying that they should change their logo to like an old white guy with Crocs and khakis. It's no longer the Washington Wizards. It's just a wash guy.
And a James Taylor t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're 80% in on Austin Rivers?
I'm now 100% in on this team. It's a very mature professional team. I can't tell you the last time we had across the board like 6 veteran professional basketball players in Washington.
Go make a bet on them today.
No chance.
Put
Zero
$100
chance.
down on them. You win $10,000.
I'm going to bet them to win the Southeast Division. That's what I'm going to bet them to win. Is that a division?
Who's in there?
Flags fly forever.
Miami, Charlotte, Orlando.
Yeah, a bunch of stink bombs.
Oh, that's a terrible division.
Yeah,
Can we bet on that?
Of course.
And now Charlotte with Tony Parker.
Right.
My thing on the
Perfect.
Wiz is their chemistry couldn't get any worse, so why not add Dwight Howard?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? He's going to make things worse. That locker room hate each other. They almost got in a fight in the locker room.
Well, they should all be used to being stinky in there because Gilbert Arenas put poop in Blotch's shoe.
Do you think that Ken Burns should make an Ernie
Did that really
Grunfeld
happen?
documentary? Ken Burns should make an Ernie Grunfeld documentary.
It would feel like watching something from another universe. It wouldn't make any sense.
Who signed the guy from the Timberwolves, Philly?
Oh, Bielika? Yeah.
That was a good signing.
Sure.
It was like a
I
better,
loved him.
cheaper version of
And the
Ilyasova.
Wilson Chandler eat that.
And House was so upset. We were driving the car to Vegas yesterday. He was so upset. He's like, Ernie Grunfeld, I guarantee he didn't know. I'm doing a tweet about this. I guarantee he didn't know who that guy was. I'm doing a tweet.
He threatened
and then
to
for the
tweet?
next 10 minutes, he held his iPhone. He can't see. And he's like typing these one-fingered Ernie Grunfeld tweets.
He ended up
true.
eating his iPhone.
Yeah.
Do the Wiz get any like residual Capitals goodwill? Like, does DC like?
I do believe in that.
Yeah, like not only because I
city
do feel like
turns.
that happened a little bit with Philly this year, and
Yeah.
I feel like
Until
maybe
the confetti game.
anxiety wise it gets right.
Look, I'm not kidding. All joking aside, if they come out hot, if they start off 10-2 or 9-3 or 8-4, the city will come around.
8-4.
8-4 is a
8-4.
winning first 12 games.
8-4 doesn't barely get you a bowl game.
I'm just telling. This is where we're at. I mean, the last two seasons they've come out so
All
shady.
they have to do is go 10-2.
If you see a little juvenation out of Dwight Howard, I'm telling you, people will be on it. We're dying for good basketball.
What is happening right now? Alex spent 22-1 to win the passing yards title.
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
No?
can I don't come? Where can I bet the don't come on
Don't
that?
come on.
Yeah.
Don't come on that.
I'm betting on
Well,
don't come
I love
on
that you've talked yourself from the Wizards. Sal,
Yeah.
I'll see you at the Cleopatra's Barge
It's
today.
gonna be fun.
Wow.
Very
We'll see
excited.
Chris as well in house. Chris, you're staying. We're going to take a break. Let's take a break to talk about Sonos. I just used Sonos for July 4th. We were banging out music playlists. You know what's great? Sonos. Sonos Home Theater. Sonos Beam. Have you heard about that one? It is the newest addition to the Sonos Home sound system. Sonos Beam is a smart, compact sound bar for your TV. Great for mid-sized rooms and TVs. Beam is Amazon Alexa enabled for easy voice control. Delivers brilliant immersive sound for movies, shows, and video games, as well as music, podcasts, and more. So you could just watch TV and nothing will show, and you can just listen to my podcast. That sounds fantastic. It's only $399 for bolder sound and larger rooms. Sonos also has Play Bar and Play Bass. We've been using Sonos for a couple years now. They've been kind enough to send us a couple of the newer items. But you could pre-order Sonos Beam right now at Sonos.com and start your smart home sound system. And while we're here, let's talk about Quip toothbrush. I was thinking about toothbrush today because I forgot to bring toothpaste to Las Vegas, and I haven't brushed my teeth with toothpaste in about 24 hours. The good news is I had Quip toothbrush. Most of us are brushing our teeth wrong, not for long enough. They forget to change our brush on time. That's because most brands focus on selling feisty gimmicks rather than better brushing. Not Quip. It's an electric toothbrush that costs a fraction of bulkier brushes and packs the right amount of vibrations to clean your teeth. Built-in timer, guiding pulses. Subscription is built for your health, delivers new brush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide. I wish they could have sent me toothpaste in Las Vegas this morning. Quip also comes with a suction mount that unsticks to use a cover for hygienic travel. Everyone loves it. They're on Oprah's O list, named one of Time's best inventions. Wow. Backed by a network of over 20,000 dentists and hygienists, hundreds of thousands of happy brushers. Quip starts at just $25 if you go to getquip.com/BS. Right now, you get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/BS. Let's get back to the boys. All right, Shane, Jason are here. Chris Ryan's still here.
Yes.
We're just talking about Heat.
Yes.
Say what?
Shea's not in on Heat, which really hurts my feelings.
Yeah. I don't like
It's
it.
got a bank robbery and it's got Danny Trejo. I don't know what else we have to do for you.
Well, probably I watched it when I was like 9 years old. That's probably part of the problem. And then again, I watched it recently like 2 a.m.
It came out a year after Blood In, Blood Out, your favorite movie ever.
Blood In, Blood Out's a good movie. Heat is like,
Wow. These are
That's
hot
tough.
takes.
I don't want to ruin the podcast.
It's very tough.
I was having lunch with Shea Serrano half an hour ago.
Y'all were doing your Pacino impressions for like 10 minutes before I realized they were Pacino impressions.
They're like warped Pacino.
You want to know what they're looking at? I'll tell you what they're looking at.
LAPD, Police Department.
I think you have to give it one more chance. You like Den of Thieves, for God's sakes. That was
Den
too
of
long.
Thieves was fun. I like the guy. What's the main guy's name? The main bad guy?
Paolo Schreiber.
I like Paolo.
Yeah.
He looks cool. He's a cool looking kid.
Did you guys see Death Wish?
The Bruce Willis version?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I did not. It's in the queue.
It's good.
Yeah, it's all right. It's
good.
all right. Yeah. It's
This
not
is
bad.
interesting.
It's got a death
It's
in
not
the last 5 minutes that makes it all worth it when a guy falls and it's bad.
Where
It's
are
some
you
good
guys
ones.
at on Hobbs and Shaw, on the Fast and Furious
Oh, 100%.
spinoff?
Idris Elba was
Yeah.
just the bad guy, right?
And Vanessa Kirby from The Crown, isn't it?
I got to say, I'm shocked that Vin Diesel allowed this.
I don't think he allowed anything.
I'm just shocked because I saw the numbers for the last two movies. They made it was like $1.3 billion.
It's incredible.
It's not like they're doing well. They're like making what Premier League teams would go for. and I'm amazed that Vin had to give his permission for anything, right? He's the one guy they can't lose from the franchise.
I guess
that
so, but I think that he gets a lot of points on the package at this
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, do you think he's getting paid anyway?
sure.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching Fast One a couple weeks
Fast
ago.
one, the first one?
First
The
one.
best one?
It's very like old school, like LA, and just it's realistic.
It's good. Yeah.
Realistic.
Cars aren't racing on ice and
Off the
nobody's
mountain.
When it-
jumping
when is-
skyscrapers.
When's
It's
the
just
moment
good.
that it became insane?
Fast
The
Five.
tunnel
Fast
race?
Five.
The bank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they dragged the
With the vault.
50-ton
Dragging
vault.
the
What's the one where they
Yeah.
jump through towers in Dubai?
That's
Seven.
seven.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't y'all know this?
I'm watching Heat too much, I guess.
6 had the prolonged runway, the airplane runway.
Right,
that
the runway
lasted
was
forever.
95
20
miles long.
25 years long.
The problem is it becomes like professional wrestling where you have to keep topping
Yeah.
like the Hell in the Cell match.
Keep doing it.
And I don't know what's next other than outer space for Fast and Furious.
Challenge accepted.
Well,
Yeah?
I mean, you're joking, but I really believe that they will do like a low orbit aerial drop from like a
Yeah,
satellite.
like
yeah.
the Red Bull guy who got thrown, like who
Yeah.
did like the squirrel jump outside of a rocket.
I think they'll do that.
Well, they
100%
basically
believe they'll
they
do that.
parachuted cars onto a mountain and they just landed perfectly. And
Mm-hmm.
that was maybe the most unrealistic scene.
It's really tough to say.
Statham and The Rock, directed by the guy who did Deadpool 2, and I think he did Atomic Blonde too. Like with Idris Elba is going to be,
It's going to be good.
that's tight.
It's
I'm
gonna
at
be
the
good.
point now where I'm just very, very focused on Skyscraper.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
My son, who never asked for anything, was like, "Dad, do you have connections to see an early screening?"
Yes.
I hadn't seen the scene yet where he's falling from the window and his
Tied to his leg?
fake leg
clicking.
is clicking. He's hanging by his fake leg.
That should be
What a
the
great
whole
idea.
movie. I would pay a full price
I
for
guess
a
we
10
know what
minute
The
movie
Rock's answer to
of
our
that.
Jaws poll question was.
Well, The Rock is the one guy that I would consider remaking Jaws.
Wow.
Is he the shark?
As a
Like, how does it work? Like, how does it work?
As
Modern
Brody?
version.
As Brody?
We did the Jaws rewatchables this week. We were saying like nobody should be allowed to remake that movie, but we all feel, and I know you feel this way.
Mhm.
Cobra Kai, the success of that
So good.
has opened the world for taking a thing we loved,
Right.
and now it's 40 years later, 30 years later, whatever.
So you think The Rock should be the
The
youngest
Rock is
Brody
the new
child?
he's the new police chief in Amity, and there's a shark, and it's the first shark since the deadly
I
shark
don't know
from
if he could
40
pull
years
off the
ago.
police chief.
I think that The Rock is too swole. And
He's
it's
too
just,
swole.
Yeah.
No,
It's
he's wearing a lot of heavy parkas.
But in any
In the-
situation,
on
if
the
a
beach.
guy
He's
who
way
was
too
that
swole.
ripped was like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm like this normal job, I would just be like, what's
He's a former football player.
He's too swole.
So The Rock is too big now for our normal parts.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
I think that.
yeah, for sure.
That's why, like in Skyscraper, he has to be an amputee, and then in Fast and the Furious, he had to have his like arm broken so he could flex the cast off. You've got to
Yeah.
you got to try and hamper The Rock a little bit because he's just too swole. He's
So
too
who
big.
would you have as the police chief in the modern
Ooh,
Jaws, the updated 2018 Jaws?
I think Ruffalo would do a good job.
Oh, there it is. That's a good
Ruffalo.
one. That's a
You just-
good
you
one.
al- you always default to Ruffalo.
That's because also after the shark attack, he could say, they knew! They knew and they let it happen!
Mexican actor?
Give me John Leguizamo. I mean, he's not Mexican, but he's close enough. He's Mexican
John
adjacent.
Leguizamo is the Amity police chief?
I like it.
Yes.
I'd go Ed Norton.
Oh, Jason. Yes. Yes.
Can I throw two out?
Sure.
Damon.
Matt Damon?
Okay.
No, thank you.
Damon, when he adds weight for the role,
Yeah.
it's like former
Little
high school,
the informant
former
punch.
Amity,
Right. Yeah.
Amity high school quarterback star. Now, like, let himself go a little bit.
Yeah, because nothing happens in this town. It's like Roy Scheider was too fit for that role. A little bit too fit.
Travolta
Wow.
with like one of his crazy hair pieces.
I think Gotti has officially buried that guy.
You didn't see Gotti, did you?
No, I did not.
Who would you have as Hooper?
Oh.
I told you I would. You have to have more minorities in a Jaws remake. It's an entirely white movie. So I would probably
Idris Elba as Hooper?
I mean, Kevin Hart.
Wow.
Wow. Ruffalo and Hart.
That's a whole different movie. That's a whole
It's more of a
different movie.
comedy. There's sharks eating people. We have to figure that out.
4,000 men went into the water. 300 came out.
Let's talk a couple of basketball things. Tony Parker went to Charlotte today.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
You lost Tony Parker. I thought he was going to
lost
retire. I didn't
Tony.
realize he had 2 more years, $10 million in him.
Mhm.
Is this the first Spur who left the nest? This is, right? Manu, Duncan, Robinson.
First one.
First one out of the core guys getting their retired numbers crew.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of firsts for me these last 2 years.
The Spurs
All
have
bad
really
firsts.
hurt your feelings.
All bad firsts. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is when I have to watch him in another jersey.
It's not going to
That's
look
a
bad.
washed up version
How
of
many
him.
titles did Tony win?
4.
4.
Yeah.
How
Finals
many
MVP?
sons did you name after
I named
him?
one son after Tony, the smallest one.
That's the bad beat. It's like on one hand,
Yeah,
you could
that's
say
tough.
that this is more like an NFL thing where a guy goes to play his last couple of years for a better contract or whatever.
Mhm.
It sounds like the Spurs wanted him back, but you guys had such a deep bond.
Yeah, me personally,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
It's funny. When I wrote my book, I was trying to pick the 100 players, or I did 96 for the pyramid. And then I had like 10 future possibilities. I never considered Parker as like a possible Hall of Famer or any of that stuff. He had that in 2013 and 14.
Yeah.
I think he made second team All NBA one year and third team the next year. And in 13, I think if he was 100% healthy, I think they win that year. In 14, he was awesome.
What happened to
In
him in
the
13?
playoffs.
Did he tear it like a calf?
He had a little calf thing, but he
Yeah.
was still like their best guy.
If
He was
they-
like their lead creator.
Yeah, if they win the finals that year, he's the finals MVP.
Yeah,
Is
but
Because he won
he
the
was the
first game
he
by
was the
himself.
best player in that team.
Yeah.
Is he like the last?
I think he's a Hall of Famer, absolutely. Now.
Is he
No
the last
question.
like Hall of Fame great point guard that we'll see who really couldn't shoot threes? Like he's just such a slasher.
Interesting. Do you
He
count
got good at the
Simmons?
end of his career.
He got good at the end, but he got okay at the end.
He got okay at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's passable.
Yeah.
Those
I'll take
two,
it.
the Spurs.
Simmons is Simmons count as a point guard?
Yes.
So he'll be the next one.
What about Tony Parker as a adding into his Hall of Fame candidacy is like the amount of like 50 win seasons that he
Yeah.
led the team to.
Yeah, well, you know, the other thing, there's some good lessons with his career. He comes in during when nobody was really sure what to make of the European dudes yet.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes like 27th. Even
Yeah.
though if you go back and you read the draft stuff, everybody's like, this guy's really good. This guy was amazing in this tournament, whatever. The Celtics passed on him 3 times. We didn't have a point guard. But then, you know, he does well. But then they almost traded him. Remember that summer? It was
Mhm.
like 2010.
They're trying to get Jason Kidd.
And sometimes
before.
with the Spurs, the best things they did were trades they didn't make.
Yeah.
Like they could have traded LaMarcus last year. They didn't. Parker, they waited out. They always kind of trusted the process.
He was a
And now
late,
the process seems kind of messed up.
he was a late bloomer too. People forget how he got benched for Speedy Claxton in the finals.
2003, yeah. He
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
shoot.
He was like 22 though, right?
Yeah, he was a
Still.
baby.
Yeah.
After he learned how to shoot, though, it was a wrap. And then when he won the Finals MVP in 2007,
Yeah.
then nobody could tell him anything. Like, all right, you're running shit now.
Speedy got a nice contract from your team, right? From
And the
that.
Sixers, yeah. I was pretty psyched about that.
That was one of the
I was like, we got Craig Claxton, man.
His name is Speedy.
Yeah.
that was one of the early 21st century's overreaction playoff performance free agent
Yes.
contracts, which culminated in Jerome James.
The
when he
Knicks
got
are great.
30
Yeah, I was
million.
about to say, the Knicks
Jerome
are
James 30
absolutely
million. He was
incredible
good
at
in
that.
like 2 playoff games for the
It
Sonics.
was literally, but against the Spurs though.
Yeah, against the
Would
Spurs.
you rather Parker retire or go to Charlotte to be with his French buddy Nick Batum?
Retire for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
What
betrayal.
if Diao goes to Charlotte now?
Can he get out of the Navy?
Just get all the French guys.
Like
What-
a French
what-
national team.
Yeah,
in
what other
Charlotte.
French dudes can they
Do
get?
it.
Get all of them.
Gobert?
What? How?
Yeah, you're targeting Gobert in 2 years.
But Diao, wait, hold on. Now. Diao, we've just learned, is in the Navy.
And I think
French
is
Navy.
also like
I think Juliet made that
a
up.
coffee expert too. Juliet made that
Just
up.
made it up. Mess of the podcast. So you're mad at Parker.
No, I'm not mad. My feelings are hurt, but mostly sad.
You're mad at Kawhi though.
I'm mad at Kawhi.
What do you think about this whole thing with like Parker was one of the more vocal critics of Kawhi.
Yeah.
He's out of the locker room now. That paves the road back to tying, like making things right with Kawhi.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Really?
No, thank you.
And you would
Give me
never
Tony Parker over Kawhi.
You would never forgive Kawhi.
I would never
Now,
forgive Kawhi.
Devil's advocate, right?
Okay.
You're Kawhi.
Mhm.
You've got this injury.
Mhm.
It's however bad you believe it is. And then Tony Parker comes out and is like, it's not even that bad. I have the same injury and mine's much worse.
Right.
And then everybody, the team basically supports that person. You wouldn't feel a type of way about that?
Oh, for sure. I would be upset with Tony if I was Kawhi, but I'm not Kawhi. I'm me. So,
What if Kawhi had come back and said, I heard what Tony said, it hurt my feelings, but at least I've never had a sexting relationship with a teammate's wife.
Wow.
And that was it. Just dropped the mic and left the press
I was
conference.
actually, I had an over-under in my
I was
mind
waiting-
for when
I was
that was
also
going to come up,
waiting.
but I wasn't going to be the one to
No,
do
that's
it.
kind of the buried skeleton of the whole Spurs dynasty, right?
Yeah, that's one of them.
It's just nobody mentions it anymore. It's
That-
weird.
and
It's just
that's
swept
why
under the
Greg
rug.
Popovich like getting Bob Hill fired to get the job in the first place,
Yeah,
right?
that's
gutted him.
definitely forgotten history.
Gutted them. It's weird because they left some titles on the table. They won 5, but I feel like if you go back over that whole run, the over-under was probably 5.5. Like the Fisher shot,
The Fisher shot was
I
unbelievable.
think they would have beaten the Pistons that year.
We would have beat the Pistons.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
year.
that
That
was-
was, and the first Miami title.
That's
the
the
first
dumbest,
Miami title in 2000. We
Yes.
should have won 5 in a row.
that was the dumbest thing that has happened in a playoff game this century. The Fisher shot.
The Fisher shot is
The 4/10 4/10 of
can't
the
believe
second 3-pointer heave.
I will forever blame
Ridiculous.
the shot clock person in San Antonio. Forever. Just let one more tenth of a second go off.
It's just
Yes.
no way.
Nobody would have noticed.
I
Yeah,
want to
nobody
see a
would've noticed.
Mythbusters episode on can you shoot a 3-pointer in 4/10
No, it was
of a
a 2.
second?
It was a 2.
Oh, was it 2? Whatever it was.
It's still just the way
And
he turned around.
He caught it and turned. which
It's
is
just
like-
there's no way that was
It's not.
4/10 of a second.
The only good thing that comes from that is that the Lakers lost to the Pistons that year. Thank
Yeah,
God. God
but I
bless
think
those
you would have.
Pistons.
Although
forever.
that Pistons team was pretty
They were nasty.
young and hungry. They were pretty nasty. They
It's
were better
one
than
of the
04.
strangest teams we will ever see.
That Pistons team.
Yeah.
I remember when that Pistons team, I think they beat the Bucks in the first round of that playoffs, and I was like, damn, they might win the finals. Like they were
Yeah,
so
right.
good.
I call
No,
you-
I swear to God, I have a blog post about this in like
Yes.
2004.
Send
Send
it
it
to
to
me.
me.
Dark
Send it to
web.
me.
Yeah,
Somebody
and-
find that.
No, seriously. And I think I was like, this team is incredible.
Isaac, go find them right now.
ChaunceyBillups.blogspot.com.
Chauncey
in
Billups blog.
2004. I think I said
Check it
that.
out.
Okay.
But you know what's funny? I think it was the next round they played the Nets, and the Nets almost beat them. I think that was the year of the crazy Scalabrini game.
That was a mini rivalry.
Scalabrini made the double overtime, and then
Pistons
Scal's
Celtics,
making
the
Yeah,
threes.
Pistons Nets.
Pistons Nets
Yeah.
was like a mini
They
rivalry.
weren't. Basketball was just not great in the 02 to
It was
07
definitely
range.
very strange.
There
That was
was-
a strange team.
You go back and it just was a league in a talent crisis, and now it's like every year.
Yeah, it's like the Kid Kenyon Nets teams.
Yeah, those teams, the Celtics in 02 were just awful. And
Yeah.
they got to game 6 of the Eastern Finals.
That was the
Antoine
Celtics team
the
that
second best player.
annihilated the Sixers in the first round, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. The Jim O'Brien Celtics?
Rodney Rogers,
Yeah.
Tony
Oh my
Delk. Like these were guys that were in crunch time. And now you look at the teams we have, and I
Sacramento
just
Kings
think,
legend, Tony Delk.
God, the Warriors would have gone like 82-0. So you still want Kawhi to go, but I have a feeling they're going to drag this out and get it closer to
Probably.
September, October,
Probably.
would be my guess. Carmelo.
What a guy.
I'm coming home.
I'm happy
Nobody-
for him.
I
Where is
tweet-
home? home is, where the heart is.
I tweeted about this on July 3rd because everybody was writing these articles about this crazy tax bill KC was going to pay. Not one person was mentioning the Carmelo buyout, which was the most obvious thing that was going to happen of the whole summer.
It still is nuts how much they're going to be paying now for this team versus the team they could have had.
Yes.
You mean the
Durant, like the Harden, like to pay this much for Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams, and Raymond Felton and whoever else, when one of the reasons why they got up off of Harden was because they didn't want to pay a tax
It was
bill.
almost like the basketball equivalent of Al Gore barely losing the election and then just completely having a career change and going into the environment where some traumatic event triggered them. The Harden trade was the traumatic event.
You can be too smart sometimes. And I think that that's a case where that franchise was trying to be too cute with it. Because you can understand what they were trying to do. It's like, oh, here, save money here, pick Ibaka, and that we'll save money and transform him into a stretch guy, and that's how we move forward. And then it's like, fast forward to now, and they legitimately selected 3 MVP level players in the draft
in a row, consecutive drafts,
and kept the worst one.
It's amazing.
It's really startling.
And you know, I actually was probably on the softer side of criticizing them, and then I sort of like even stopped thinking about it that much until you had Bosch on, and Bosch talking about the Heat, saying like, let Russ and KD do whatever, but we have to focus on Harden. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
It's almost like they should have gone on the Reddit team pages for the fans of like the Mavericks, Spurs, and Heat talking about James Harden. It might have given them a better window on whether they should trade him. I'm with you though. I think they like the trade.
Yeah.
I think they thought they could replace Harden's offense with Kevin Martin, and they got this great pick. And
it's very smart on paper, like from a cap perspective. On the other hand, there's something to be said for, you have all this talent, let's just roll them back out and spend the money.
They should have asked Shea. Shea, are you afraid of James Harden? Shea would be like, yes. We can't guard him. Are you thinking of trading him? You should. That would be great. He killed the Spurs.
This is what
and the Mavericks.
Gonz wrote about this for the site today, which is basically like, do you think that the title windows are getting drastically smaller?
No, I think they've always been small.
Yeah.
This was my case a couple years ago. Oh, with the what team was it? Maybe the Bulls.
Yeah, was it the Derrick Rose Bulls?
Yeah, I wrote some window column like 4 years ago. Maybe. Oh, you know what? It might have been OKC. The year they made the finals, when they were like, we're the young team.
Yeah.
And they beat that Spursy, like, right?
No, actually, you guys, the window's now. You guys have 3 potential All-NBA guys. Like, go for it. I think teams make the mistake sometimes of thinking that window's going to be 15 years.
Yeah, well, that's what I was writing about the Sixers, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, I went on the Ringer NBA show Sunday, and I was like, this is the case for the Kawhi trade for Philly. You don't know if Embiid and Simmons are going to be there in 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the difference,
history of the NBA says one of them might leave.
I think the difference too between that OKC team and today is just contracts are shorter. Mm-hmm. It's just the window has shrunk a little bit because now you're rolling back guys for 3-4 years, maybe 1 and 1, or 2 years instead of 5-6 years. So it's just harder.
7-year contracts that were a Knicks specialty. You missed those.
Yeah.
you had at some point the Knicks either gave out or traded for more 7-year contracts than I think every other team combined.
It was really amazing at one point in my life to look at the Knicks and be like, this is it for 6 years. This is the team. This is what the bill is going to be. And they're going to win 23 games.
In like 94, 95 or something, ML Carr took over the Celtics. And it was right when we were really all collectively starting to figure out the salary cap. Like, so 2 years from now, we'll still have all of these guys. Yeah. And I remember, and I cared so much more about sports in the mid-90s. And I feel like I care a lot now, but in the mid-90s, it was like life or death. And I just remember being like, Sherman Douglas, 2 more years. Todd Day, 2 more years. Dina Rajan, 5 more. And just like doing the math and be like, oh, we're completely fucked. For 4 years. And it was such a bummer. And the Knicks fans had that all last decade.
It was really bad. I mean, when Larry Brown pushed for the acquisition of Steve Francis, when we already had Stephon Marbury, it was like, what? What?
And you traded for the Jalen contract?
It was very tough.
You Jerome James,
Penny Hardaway on one leg.
The Spurs, the only really one that was a disaster was Richard Jefferson.
That was a bad one.
Other than that, they were pretty good with what they did. Philly had that too. Remember when they had all those bad contracts and then put them together in a trade for Chris Webber? Yes. They tried to team 3 bad contracts into the Chris Webber Hail
There was
Mary.
A lot of like, there was also just a lot of finding someone to play with Iverson stuff going on.
Right.
Larry Hughes. Yeah. On Iguodala for a little bit towards the end of Iverson's stay in Philly.
I do think we don't count that enough when we talk about the greatest players. How, like Duncan, you never heard a conversation of, well, we got to find guys who can play with Tim Duncan.
Right.
And it was like Bird and Magic. Like you go through some of the greats, and then you have these other ones where it's like, well, LeBron needs this team around him, or he can't succeed. I don't know if that was the case with LeBron. I feel like he could have succeeded with anybody.
Yeah, LeBron is fine anywhere.
Hasn't
Westbrook
LeBron
clearly
totally
needs
proven
certain
that he can
teammates.
succeed with anyone? He just went to the finals with Jeff Green.
Yeah, I just think it's it's one of those things where if you want to unlock everything from LeBron,
Right.
you just have to have a certain mix of shooting around him.
Right.
Allow him to work
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, it's not true to
He
the
doesn't
extent
even
of
think
like
it's true
getting into the
anymore.
playoffs, but I think if you're like, what's the best possible team around LeBron James? Shooters.
I actually think like having Kyrie as like the secondary creator dude was the best thing that happened to him,
that was
other
really
than
good
having
for him.
Dwayne Wade, where it's like I don't have to do everything. It's your turn this time.
Right.
But that ESPN piece really intrigued me about him going to the low post more. So we've been waiting for that for 10 years.
You also have to wonder whether or
So
not
you have
he's
to
ever
double
going to
team him
start
every time.
instituting like the Chris Paul, like I'm going to play 30 a game in the regular season to save myself for the playoffs. Like he doesn't seem like he needs to do that, but that has to be coming eventually, right?
Especially after this last season where it was like,
Yeah.
he had to drive the freaking plane, like clean the arena, like and play the games.
I don't understand why he played the minutes he did, but then some of the rest stuff that came out that like, who wrote that piece? Windhorst?
The resting while playing stuff.
Yeah, that made me wonder, like maybe it's not as taxing as we thought it was if he's really just picking his spots and
Yeah,
he's
but
not
if you're-
practicing.
If you're doing that though, like he was, one thing that I loved that he did, the one technique that he used was if he ever got hard fouled and so he'd go to the court and fall down, he'd just stay there for like 2 minutes and just catch his
Soccer
breath.
style.
It's really, and it was really smart.
Oh yeah,
But,
you're
like,
right. He did do that. I never noticed that.
But I think that's one of those things where like, if you're having to do that, you're playing too much.
Yeah.
That's like too much.
Well, that's what he said though. He's like, I don't care about how many minutes I play. The hard part is getting ready to play. Like all that I have to do to my body over the course of a day to get into like, and now my body is primed to be at its peak at 7:00 p.m. and we're going to go play. Right. If I play 39 minutes or 29 minutes, it doesn't make a difference to my
Shea
body.
does that.
Yeah. But that's
Shea-
like, some people are like that.
You treat your body and try to peak when you're writing for
I
us.
treat my body with
10
Arby's and Taco Bell. And I'm ready at 2 a.m. I'm ready.
I have a very important conversation topic.
Okay.
Are we filming? Okay.
For 30 minutes.
It's been 4 weeks. LeBron's basically pretty much broke his hand saga. Shea, how are we going to remember that? He showed up at the press conference with in a basically a cast.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody let this go. We live in an age on the internet in 2018 where we overthink anything. We see conspiracies. We blow stuff out. We love blaming people. We love kind of turning the tables. And this one, everybody let it go. And I'm still confused by it.
I think you should try to do that tonight. You
On
should
Cleopatra's
if you
Barge
take
at
a
Caesars?
bath in Blackjack, you should show up at breakfast on Sunday with a neck brace.
Yeah. Right.
Like Ted Kennedy
just
after
be like,
Chappaquiddick.
Like you guys didn't even know, but I got a little bit of a fender bender last day before Blackjack.
I think I got
and
a
then
concussion.
like hours later, you're like playing futsal and like heading the ball somewhere.
But what happened with that?
He's a fast healer.
We had
Like,
in the HBO
he's like
show.
Wolverine.
He's carrying his suitcase with his right hand before like game 3.
He was
With his
dapping
broken
like
hand.
his sons and numerous people on the sidelines after the game.
I don't know what the truth is, but I know when I tell my sons about that finals, he played the whole finals in a cast. Is what I'm saying.
So
Game and
So
everything.
will the legend grow with it?
Yeah, for me, yes. I'm a LeBron guy.
But why do you think the internet let this one go, Jason? We had fun with it.
Did
You
they
did a
let
whole
it go?
desktop.
I don't think that anybody's going to give him, it's like, you're not going to get any credit for it, but we're also
Right.
not going to roast you for it. So we had like a couple of days of fun with it, but ultimately like, we're just going to like let it pass because you just got swept. Like, so
Okay.
it doesn't really matter either way.
If when they do the press conference, who is going to be the reporter with the balls? Be like, LeBron, I have a question. Your broken hand, is that healed?
Yeah, can we see the
like just bring
X-ray?
that just for the reaction of it.
I think part of it was that, like, as soon as that finals was over, like the broken hand thing was fine for 48 hours. And then it's like, okay, where's he going?
Yeah.
Is he moving out?
Yeah.
Where are his kids going to enroll in school? What plane is he using to go from Anguilla to wherever he's going?
Do you think
We
that it was
immediately
like
moved on to
basically
that.
like misdirection then? So that we took the conversation topic off of are you staying to like, did he really have a broken hand?
No.
No, I don't even understand why that happened, I guess. Because if he didn't break it, doesn't seem like he broke it. So
Because it would be
why-
really weird to have like a super popular pro athlete complain about a hand injury before a big game.
Is this a Boston dig? Oh, it is. You saw in Tom versus Time, there was a giant cut. It's a giant cut in his hand. Cut that into the video. Big cut on his hand. Carmelo?
Oh, Carmelo.
So I think it's Houston or Philly from what I've heard. Lakers are out.
What is this Philly crap?
I love this.
Send him to Philly.
You wouldn't want him for $2.5 million?
Yeah. Spot up shooter.
Is he like an inspirational locker room figure and like a good team guy? It didn't seem like it last year.
Great hats.
So he's got ties, Embiid, same agent. And then Houston, Chris
Is he
Paul.
also from Philadelphia?
Chris
Is it his
Paul.
third hometown?
That's another. It's near Baltimore.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul is his buddy, obviously, and they have the same agent too. I think
Carmelo
it's gonna be
should get
Houston.
sponsored by Amtrak. My hometown is the Northeast Corridor. It's just like anywhere along the Eastern Seaboard is.
You know,
But
I think it's
Houston could Chris Paul? Could he do
unlock.
some? I'm going to use a Fortnite joke for you.
Sure.
Could give him a little slurp juice?
Oh!
Uncle Bill,
That guy!
little slurp,
Fortnite
little
guy.
slurp juice. Maybe not get him to 100%, but
Right.
50%.
Right, get the health back up. Maybe
the health back
add
up.
a little bit of shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Maybe get a little ammo. He goes into one of those little huts, gets the
Sure,
ammo.
maybe, but like at what cost? They just lost Ariza. And the formula with Melo has always been, does he score enough to offset how bad he is at defense?
No.
Right? And right now, I would say no. And with
You don't think
Ariza
it's worth
out
a
of the
flyer,
picture,
though?
a flyer,
$2 million.
Would he take that?
Yeah, because I think they're going to buy him out, and he's going to do veteran whatever.
Melo is a Kawhi replacement.
No, thank you.
Boy.
Keep Carmelo far away from San Antonio as you can get him.
Shea, do you play Fortnite with your kids?
I've watched them play Fortnite. I have no idea how to play Fortnite.
Do
I
they
know
camp?
Thanos was in it for a while.
Thanos was in
which is
it.
really exciting.
I have an embarrassing revelation.
Let's hear
Okay.
it.
On Tuesday,
Yes.
I was waiting for something to get delivered at my house, and I just decided Tuesday it was July 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, today's the day I'm going to either make or break myself with Fortnite. I'm playing it for 8 hours.
Wow.
I played Fortnite all day on July 3rd. Did some emails as I was doing it, but
Can you
I was
email
like, I'm
while
gonna
you
get-
play Fortnite?
well, there's breaks. You know,
Okay.
you're on
There's
that giant, the bus, the flying
after you
bus. You have some
die.
time there.
Solos or duos?
I was
What?
doing the solo because
Okay.
my son had built up. He's on level 65.
Did
so
you
I was
screw your
using his
son's
little
character up?
No.
Maybe a little bit. And so I was like, I used to be great at video games back in the day, but that was,
The new ones are
I had
too
a
hard.
television, Atari, I had
Yeah.
all of them. And I'm just not good at it.
It's bad.
It really hurts my feelings. I'm just too old for
What's-
Fortnite.
what's-
I think
What's
I'm there
the-
with you.
I can't shoot people.
I need the ones
What's
that
the
go
highest
left to
you-
I
right.
had
finished?
this one thing that if there's videotape of it, it would be the most humiliating video ever where I just jump in, there's a person in front of me, I'm shooting, and they're
Dead.
jumping up and down, and I shot all my bullets.
And
And
you had
then he
nothing.
did the dance in front of me and ran away. And I was like, this is the lowest moment of my life.
Why didn't you hit him with like the backhoe?
With that
or
big axe.
with the axe.
That's what I ended up with.
Because I was like, it's so hard.
What's the highest you've ever finished?
I got to number 2.
Well, hold on, Bill. That's really good.
That's good.
So I got to 2.
Are you guys giving him like a participation badge? Is that really that good?
Did you kill anyone to get to 2? Or
I
just
had
hide?
2 kills.
There you go.
Because I had a sniper gun.
He played for 8 hours. Is this actually that good?
Hey,
Yes.
Can I tell you a secret? It
Yeah.
might have been like 12 hours. So I had a sniper gun. I really like the sniper guns. But
You just
so
hide.
it's
Great.
2
You're
left.
hiding.
Yeah.
The circle shrinks. So now it's
Of
me
course.
and this dude.
Was your
And
Was
I
your
got
heart
him.
beating?
I surprised him.
Were you
I come
talking
in,
to
I
him?
started shooting at him, and he started putting
Yeah,
up
I
those
hate
big
that.
ice things.
That's the worst.
And I panicked, and I was pressing buttons, and I hit my map, so then I couldn't see him. And then he just nailed me, and I was done. That was it. I was down to 2. Yeah.
I hope that it was one of my kids who that happened.
Why do
to.
you guys
I'd be like,
so, Sean, it sounds like you want me to play Fortnite in the Ringer studio.
Yeah.
I'm really bad. My son heckles me. He calls me a noob.
A noob.
He's like,
yeah.
you're such a noob, Dad.
Yeah.
You're a noobster.
You're such a noob. Oh, another noob move by you. And just like berates me and ruins my confidence.
Do you camp?
Dad,
Do you
I
camp?
do camp. He's
I
like,
camp too.
He calls me a bush camper.
Camp is just like when
Here's-
you hide out.
Wait, what
When
is
you
camp?
hide here, when camp is when you like find like a bathroom or some area, something inside, and you just hang out there. My thing is,
oh,
listen,
that sounds super fun.
listen. If you want to kill me, come get me. I'm in there.
I like
You
being
got
on a
a problem
high
with it? Come get
location.
me.
Okay.
High location.
I like high location, just waiting. And then some dude will run and he won't know. And I'll shoot and I'll just miss him 9 times and then he'll come kill me.
Do you
You
build?
don't sound like not that much fun to play video games.
Do you build? Do you build stuff? Are you a builder or you just shoot?
No, I like opening chests.
Chests are fun.
And I like sneak attacking people. I like hiding in the house where they come up because they think they're saying
Do you talk to people while you're playing? Like, do you have like a little microphone and like chat with them? No?
I don't. No.
Are you like, you blast somebody and you're like, OKC never should have given up on Harden, I'm telling you.
So my son plays, he FaceTimes his friend and they play the duos.
Oh, yeah.
And they
That's what my kids
FaceTime
do.
the whole time. And he's definitely not going to college. I don't know what he's going to do. It'll be one of those things 10 years from now in the Ringer will be like, hey,
He might be a pro
Isaac,
gamer.
I have a podcast producer for us. It's my son. He's never had a job. Can you teach him how to press record? Yeah.
He's the 50th ranked Fortnite player in the world. So.
Yeah.
That's a bad beat for Isaac too, because he's still recording this podcast.
I had Isaac running our whole podcast division at that point.
Yeah.
Or being on
Congratulations,
The
Isaac.
Voice as one of the judges. One of the
Yeah,
other.
The Voice.
No, my son has the Sonny Corleone. You can either be Sonny Corleone or Michael Corleone with Fortnite. My son's a Sonny Corleone. Like he sees somebody, he's just out. He just wants to go head to head, which
That's
I
how
think
I
is
play.
a kid thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how
And
I
your
play
kids
too.
probably play that way too, right?
No, they're hiders. Like
Right.
one of them's a hider, another one is like.
So what do you think it says about our
storming the
personalities, whether you're a hider or a confronter?
I think it means.
I think it says exactly that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it says.
So there's a window into our
I
personalities.
know.
What if you just never played Fortnite?
Have you ever played?
No.
Oh, we should play
You're
on
not
a
a
team
video
then, me
game
and
guy,
you.
though.
I was when I was a kid. Yeah. I mean, I played up until I like Max Payne and
Oh
Red
my
Dead
God,
Dawn.
Max
My problem is I have an addictive personality with this stuff. And like I was up till 3 a.m. on July 3rd playing Fortnite.
Wow.
And my wife was fair. And I
incredible.
was listening to all the Ringer podcasts as I was doing it. So I caught up on 5 podcasts. And my wife woke up and I wasn't there and she came down and she was like, what the hell? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm giving this one day to see if I can get good at
You're
this.
like-
And she's
like,
like, you're
honey-
such a loser.
Honey, I'm about to airdrop into Retail Row. Can you just give me a second?
Yeah. Hold on, the lake, they're coming. Yeah. So Fortnite. So you're out. What's your favorite video game, Shea?
We have a PlayStation 3 where you can download the old games on it.
Yeah.
So I have NBA Jam on there, Mortal Kombat,
Ooh.
and NFL Blitz. Those are the only 3 video games I still play.
The shooting games, my generation, they didn't really have them.
Yeah, they
It
didn't.
was more like sports
I don't like
games
them.
or like Pac-Man type
They
stuff.
make
where
me
you're-
dizzy when
Yeah.
you're moving all around. Like
Yeah.
I get nauseous.
That
every
used to
time.
be my go-to.
Yeah.
I played that more than anything.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
Oh,
Halo.
Left and right and up and down is all I can do in a video game.
Yeah.
If you ask me to do something else, it's over.
We have to go, right? Yeah, we're wrapping up. All right.
right.
Thank you, fellas. See you
Thank you.
tonight at Cleopatra's Barge.
You're such a noob, Bill.
You're such a noob.
Thanks to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to check them out at ZipRecruiter.com/BS, our presenting sponsor. Thanks so much to Caesar's Palace. What an amazing, amazing weekend we're having here. And they could not have been cooler. By the way, Caesar's changed their sports book and it's phenomenal. I would highly recommend it if you're in Vegas for any reason. Go check out the sports book. They added a bunch of TVs, all that stuff. Thanks to Sonos. Don't forget, Sonos Beam is the smart compact soundbar for your TV. Great for mid-sized rooms and TVs. Beam is Amazon Alexa enabled for easy voice control. And it delivers brilliant immersive sound for movies, shows, and video games, as well as music, podcasts, and more. It's only $3.99. Pre-order Sonos Beam now at Sonos.com. Start your smart home sound system today, right now. Enjoy the weekend. Sorry this pod was up a little late. I planned on doing it at 9:30. Unfortunately, the cards were beckoning. But yeah, you have it for tomorrow, Saturday morning, hopefully. We'll be back next week with a whole bunch of new ones. Until then, enjoy the weekend.
Wanna see them on the way so